All right, thank you for joining our update today. We're going to be talking about the Palo Alto Pan OS vulnerability. And this is brand new. Today is June 30th, 2020. And we want to make sure that you're up to date in understanding what this Palo Alto vulnerability actually means for you. So if you own a Palo Alto firewall, and you have VPN users, which almost everybody has, especially in today where we're dealing with COVID and we're dealing with a lot of remote users remoting in, VPNing in to the network. We wanted to bring this vulnerability to you as quickly as we possibly could and share with you the details on it so that you could understand if you are a person that should be looking into this vulnerability deeper, if you should be applying the patch, if you should be concerned. So let's dive right in. So first off, the CVE number for this is 2020-2021. It's considered a rare vulnerability. And so therefore it scores a 10 out of 10, which is the highest vulnerability severity level that can be applied to a CVE. So this CVE means that if you are vulnerable to it, you should apply this patch immediately or change your configuration. And I get into that in a moment. There is a patch that is available via Palo Alto's website. They do supply the security patch for this. It was produced, it looks like, rather quickly. However, it is showing that if you are on version 9.1.3 or lower, you're affected. And so if you're greater than 9.1.3, then you're unaffected. There's a list of the Palo Alto OS releases on the website, on the Palo Alto website. Check your version that you're on and see if this affects you. To get into the specifics of it, if you use SAML for authentication and you have the validate identity provider certificate unchecked or essentially disabled, then you are susceptible or vulnerable to this easy attack. This is not a complicated attack. This is actually the reason why it was scored a 10 out of 10 was because the attack was, or the vulnerability was not a complicated attack measure for a criminal to use this. So what you want to do is ask your peers, look into your firewall and see if you're using SAML for authentication. And find out if you have the validate identity provider certificate checked or unchecked. If it's unchecked, you potentially are vulnerable. Also check the version that your firewall is on and see if you are on a lower than 9.1.3. The other thing is the way that this is a vulnerable for attackers is if you're using the Global Protect gateway, the portal, the clientless VPN, the authentication captive portal, any of those are areas where the vulnerability exists to be attacked and exploited. So, which almost is everybody that I know that are using Palo Altos use the Global Protect gateway, the portal, the clientless VPN, the captive portal. So these are all ways that you would authenticate into the firewall, and it can even be done remotely. So you don't have to just be inside the network. You can also be outside the network, meaning you're remote, and this vulnerability can be used against it. This is a pretty short order, meaning that the time from when this was found, the United States CERT put out the notification pretty quickly. Palo Alto came up with a patch fairly quickly. But what I want to point out here is think about this. these attacks, or excuse me, these vulnerabilities that are quickly found and known and patched, they all have the common theme. They're known or they're found. What I would like you to just think about for a moment is think about all of the vulnerabilities that haven't been found quite yet, that haven't had a CVE number attached to them yet, haven't had a patch created for them yet, but yet some criminal has found it and is exploiting it and using it to their ability to gain access to your network. And so these are great that we have a patch and that we have the ability to quickly remediate the situation or apply an update. But think about all of the situations that are unknown at the moment in your environment that potentially could be used against you. Now, I know that I'm not stretching the truth here, or this isn't far-fetched, but just think about this. This wasn't known to the public until somebody found the vulnerability and they posted about it, and then Palo Alto reacted to it with a security patch, updating the problem and correcting the issue. How long was that? How long has this vulnerability been here? Has this vulnerability been here 2 months, 6 months, 9 months, ever since they released 9.1.3? That's the question here. And this is what we as security professionals need to be paying attention to, is understanding ways that we can monitor, detect unusual behavior, threats in the network, and find out where people might be exploiting vulnerabilities that aren't even known in our network yet. So with that, I'm going to wrap up today's update and appreciate your time and thank you very much.